there are questions. If you would just try to speak as loudly as possible, I'll repeat the question. But please feel free. Does anybody have any questions for the panel right now? Oh, they're going to come, I guarantee it. Well, I just happen to have some starter questions right here. Let's see, what do I have? I think one of the big questions a lot of people here have is, you know, what are we really looking for? And this is an independent question for everybody. What are we looking for in an agency? But what I want to ask, I guess each of the panel members, Deb, maybe I'll start with you. What is it that an agency looks for in an intended parent to help them decide this is a good person to work with?
One of the things that, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
One of the things that I think is important as an agency director to look for an intended parent is someone who's thought this through, someone who knows what they're getting themselves into. You know, again, using my therapist hat as well as agency director hat, I want someone who's very clear, and if you're in a partnership, that you and your partner are clear on how you want this to go, because I'd rather be proactive and match you with someone who wants the same things that you want than to have you change your mind along the way. Better to have a match with someone who shares, again, your values than to have you try to fit a square peg in a round hole if you and your carrier aren't on the same page. So that's one thing that I think is important.
Yeah. Stephanie, is there anything you want to add to that?
I think, honestly, it's just about judging their character. You know, when I have an intended parent come into my office, I want to see that their heart's in the right place, that both of their partners are on the same, or they're, you know, them and their partner are on the same page, that they really want this, and that they know that this is a huge commitment, and it is very time consuming. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight. Making babies is something that takes a lot of time, a lot of money, unfortunately, and they just need to be committed to that during the whole process.
Yeah. Diane?
Yeah, I have to say we've rarely ever said we won't work with parents. We don't have any arbitrary age disqualifications, or people always call us up and say, you know, do you have any cutoffs or things like that? But what we're looking for, and actually at the very beginning, people will come to us at the very beginning of the process, and they won't know exactly how they feel on some of these issues, such as you know, what they should be looking for in a surrogate or how they should feel, and that's why we will offer, you know, complimentary consultations, and it's just an information. But over time, I think then we try to help them figure out the process. But I think we're looking for people who genuinely want to do this and are willing to understand that it's not going to happen, you know, instantaneously, and there could be an emotional roller coaster, and that the matching agency can't control the medical, and just are ready to take a journey. It's a gut feeling that people understand what they're in for, but yeah.
I guess the same question applies to the medical facility for clinics. What do you doctors look for in intended parents?
I think, you know, it's interesting. I just have to echo, you know, the panel's sort of insightful comments and say absolutely those are all true. And I do a lot of Skype consultations. We do a lot of Skype consultations because we have many international patients, many patients who, the majority of our patients are from out of our state. So it's interesting because when you have Skype consultation, typically they last at least an hour, and there's a back and forth in terms of questions, and you get really a feel for the bond that's created between the doctor and the patient and the intended parents. And I think both the intended parents and the doctor, after that particular consultation, the initial consultation, get a feel for whether they can work together, whether it's a good bond, whether there's effective communication, whether they deeply care about what they're doing, and are they serious enough about exactly what they're doing to proceed. So my general feeling is that typically when I meet with my intended parents, even if it's just on a Skype, on a video call, usually afterwards I get a great feeling of excitement and a great deal of passion that goes into it, and saying, wow, this is going to be incredible journey, and we're going to help you become parents, and it's terrific. I mean, I'm excited about it and passionate about it, and I think, to echo what you said, it's rare for us to have a situation where we don't want to work with the intended parents. It's actually the opposite, is that whether the intended parents want to work with us. Yeah.
I would definitely agree with what these esteemed colleagues have had to say. Let's take the other side. Maybe there's like 2 to 5% of intended parents where you get done and you're like, whoa. And those people actually, the consultation on the doctor's side puts them in a place where they actually are able to have honest conversations with each other. And actually the majority of them come back. It might be 6 months, it might be a year later, they come back. I've had a situation where when I started asking the questions, it was like watching 2 people play tennis, and it was just kind of like, well, these are all real questions, and that's when I actually refer them back to the mental health colleague so they can kind of decide if this really works for them, because it has to work for both of you, and you know, certainly it's going to take a team. There are some people who come to the door and they're going to do this by themselves. You don't have to have a partner. You can do this as a single dad, which is fine as well. Sometimes that makes it a little bit easier, but playing through all the next steps also is important. And the other thing that is really important that I try to stress to them is that it is a journey, it is a roller coaster. It's somewhere between, you know, at the short 4 months to matching egg donor embryo transfer, but it's more commonly like 6, 8, 12 months. And then by the time your little bundle of joy or joys comes along, it's another 9 to 10 months. So this is a long haul. And so it's a lot of planning and preparation, and most people who come through the door just feel it themselves. They want to bring a child into their family, and we can usually help them through it.
Excellent. Yes, can you stand up, please? I'm sorry, yeah, I apologize. Can you repeat it one more time, please?
Is there any advice or counseling or services about bringing up babies as that's 3 hours in the
Oh, from birth on.
You're on your own.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry, that's a different seminar. No, actually, the men having babies, if you come to the personal stories panel, we're going to be telling you a little bit more about some of the stuff that we're doing to develop our parents program. Because there are some parenting programs we're certainly expanding out. I think that the purpose of what we're doing, and I don't know whether anyone has ongoing.
And there's one at 6, right?
Pardon me?
There's one at 6 o'clock today.
Yes, yeah. There's a discussion today, as a matter of fact, a panel discussion today about talking to your kids about surrogacy and parenting. So there are things that we're beginning to develop right now. Today, and this session in particular is really more for intended parents and the beginning of the journey. But stick with us; we're doing it. Any other? Yes. Can you stand up for me?
Yeah, this is a little bit of a softball question, but I throw it out because for us it was probably the most important question to get answered in order to get going, and we're actually fairly far down our process. So I really want to throw it out there, and some of the panelists touched on this. But could you expound a little bit more on what the motivations are for both the donors and the surrogates in this process? Because coming to this cold and hearing about the legal issues and potentially the horror stories, it's too easy to think that everyone's in it for fun. And going through this process, meeting people, our own experience, it couldn't be further from the truth. The motivations of our surrogates and our donors are fantastic and is a really big part of the story. I know you touched on it a little bit, but I want you to really bring that out. Because that's what got us started. It was 2 years ago when we came to this event and realized just what a wonderful group of people.
Yeah, they truly are. The question, I just want to repeat the question, is asking the panelists to talk a little bit more about the motivations of the carriers and the donors. Diane, you wanted to mention?
Sure. So we don't just do legal, we do matching, and let me tell you a little bit about our surrogates. So our surrogates are doing this to change a life. You probably all know people in your own lives who are people who like need to be needed. They're the caretakers. And so when we do reference checks, the kinds of things we hear over and over are, this is the person who'd give you the shirt off your back. This is the person who's the rock of the family. And so these are women who loved being pregnant, and now they want to give back. Their children are so important to them that the idea that they could do it for someone else just is amazing to them. And so this is a way that they can be appreciated. And once you figure that out, then it just makes for a win-win situation because you show them the appreciation. That's why they're doing this. And then it makes for a fantastic relationship. But that is their primary motivation. Some of them are stay-at-home moms this may allow them to continue to be a stay-at-home mom, but that is not their primary motivation. It is truly to do it. And so the thing that makes a relationship go bad then is when they're not getting that contact, that feedback, so that's what we found. It truly does renew your faith in womankind, the women that we get. So.
Would you like to respond? I think you have a very special perspective on this, Stephanie.
Yes, I've been a surrogate myself twice, and my motivation to begin with was having somebody in my family with infertility, not being able to become pregnant on their own. And that's what I see on a lot of the profiles that my surrogates fill out. That's almost one of the first questions that we ask them during our initial consultation on their profile is, why are you wanting to do this? I don't want if their initial answer to that is money motivated, I don't want them in my program, period. Because it can get bad from there. A lot of them have friends, they have family members that have been affected by infertility. A lot of them are just done having their own children and really did love being pregnant. They do get a lot of attention from this. One of the best experiences of my life, besides having my own children, was looking at my intended father's face in the delivery room. Just watching his face go to complete joy and then just tears running down. And it wasn't because he was sad, it was because, oh my God, I just got my baby finally. I've been waiting for this forever, and I was the one who helped it get there, or her get there, I should say. So I think a lot of the times it's not a money motivated thing. I mean, we do get those calls here and there. When Baby Mama came out, the movie, it was the worst thing ever. Because in that movie, of course, they told, it basically portrayed surrogates as making $100,000, for carrying a baby. So I had women calling me going, well, I want to make $100,000. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I can't personally do that for you, but you might want to look into another agency. Good luck. But most of them they're really compassionate women. A lot of our surrogates are nurses, they're already kind of giving in many ways. And like Diane said, stay-at-home moms, women love to stay at home with their children. This is an easy way for them to do that. Some of them are putting themselves through college, and going back to school once their kids are in school themselves. So this is something that also helps them further their education, There are numerous different reasons, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a surrogate who is just solely compassionate. She wants to see that look on your face in the delivery room because that is just the best part of it all.
Yeah, my carrier and donor both had people in their own family that had fertility issues, and that was their motivation. We really only have a couple of minutes left before we get to the second round of introductions, but I wanted to ask Deb, do you want to speak about the motivation?
I do, actually. Having done psychological evaluations on donors and surrogates for 13 years, I can tell you that's one of the exclusionary criteria, is if they're financially motivated, because I want to make sure that there's no financial coercion, that they're not feeling pressured to do this in any way, whether it be from, I have to pay my bills, I have to do this, or from a spouse or partner. I absolutely want to make sure that that's not a piece of it. And to echo what everyone else said, the surrogates that I accept in our program and that overall I think are the best carriers are those that are people pleasers. The ones that enjoy giving the gift more than getting the gift. And so they're women that really enjoy, as everyone just said, watching the expression on their intended parent's face, that enjoy their faces at ultrasounds, enjoy handing over that baby. That's the ideal carrier. And it's not financially motivated. It's really just someone who wants to help you to create their family. And speaking to my two carriers themselves, they would echo that as well, that it's not about the financial compensation.
I just also want to let you know that we brought babies in to make this much more emotional for you all. So, no, can we please thank everyone on the expert panel? It was truly wonderful. Thank you so much. It was really great information.